Many people claim that Dan Hardy isn't deserving of this title shot against George St-Pierre in the main event at 111. What do you think about that?
Well, I would say to those who say he isn't deserving, then who is? I mean, right now you have a situation where who are the top welterweights? John Fitch, Thiago Alves, a couple other guys, but right now, I mean, he's as deserving as if anyone else. Those guys, Fitch and Alves really are at the top of the list for most people, and in that case, those guys, they lost to GSP, and in Alves' case, he lost very decisively, and Fitch really wasn't much of a threat to him either. So, people have to get their opportunities, and I think also, you just like people already saying like, I'm trying to think like who should get a title shot against BJ, and people want to say, some people say Kenny Florian's probably the best lightweight out there, but he just got his shot, and other people want shots. People say Frankie shouldn't get a shot. Well, who should get a shot? I mean, you just have Gray Maynard, yeah, but the guy doesn't even want that fight. So you just, I mean, it's hard, and guys have to be deserving. Guys have to get their shots, and you have to give people a shot. Because after a while, people, you're fighting the same guys over and over and over. Then it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it gets old. No one wants to see it
Yeah,
again.
it gets old after a while. Yeah, you can't really do it too quickly, too soon.
Yeah. For those that don't know, I mean, Hardy is a reputable fighter. He owns a 23-6 pro record. He's won seven straight, excuse me, and 11 of his wins have been TKO. So, as far as the biggest threat to beating GSP, Hardy provides that with his punching power. The puncher's chance is definitely there. GSP's minus 800, so he's an 8-1 favorite entering this fight. Hardy's at plus 500, significant underdog. Obviously GSP should be the runaway favorite to win. He's probably going to win hands down, but I can't see myself putting money on GSP at minus 800. So just for kicks, I'd probably throw some money on Hardy.
Yeah, save your money. Really save your money. And look, this is not a knock on Hardy. Really, it's not. I mean, he's one dimensional. Look, one-dimensional fighters aren't going to beat George St-Pierre. They're not. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, now anything can happen. Anything can happen. It would be a big, major, news story if Hardy catches George and hurts him. But George is a complete mixed martial artist. He's one of a handful of fighters in this sport who are mixed martial artists. Everybody's in mixed martial arts, but everybody's not a mixed martial artist, and he is. And that, from the standpoint of his physical game, his all-around physical game, and his mental makeup, he is probably the most mature fighter in the business. I mean, he knows what his strengths are and his weaknesses are, and he tries to keep his strengths strong, while at the same time improving his weaknesses, and making sure that he doesn't make mistakes like he's done in the past. In previous fights, he doesn't make those mistakes anymore. He's not going to look past anybody. He's fighting for his legacy. He understands the importance of what it means to be the welterweight champion of the world in the UFC, and what that brings to him from a recognition standpoint and from a financial standpoint, and other opportunities that this leads to. He is not someone who is going to give up that welterweight strap very easily. And I don't think Hardy has enough. Hardy only has one way to win, and George will, his stand-up, his head movement, he knows how to get up under that reach of Hardy. He's going to know. Hardy's got to get lucky and land it. And then he can get lucky, but, George is so strong, man. He's so fast.
He's so everything, man.
Yeah, he just, that's an easy fight to pick.
What do you think about this, man? It's so easy to say GSP's perfect, this and that. He brings everything to the table. One thing he has brought up is his lack of knockouts of late. He's running, I think, 6 consecutive wins, and half of those have come by decision. Let's just say that type of trend continues, and he accumulates, instead of a 19-2 record, he goes to 40-4. But yet, majority of those are decisions. Do you think that taints his his I guess supremacy as a welterweight elite at all, or I mean wins are wins?
It doesn't taint his image in my eyes because though he hasn't been finishing some of the top guys, he has extremely dominated them. There was no question that these guys are getting beat up. Look, when he fought Thiago Alves, he was injured in the fight. He got injured in the fight. So, and I'm talking about George St-Pierre. He suffered an injury during the fight. So, I mean, you things happen, and you, if you get the knockout, great. If you don't get it, then your first priority is to win. Frank Mir and I had this conversation once on MMA Live, and his position is that you got to finish the guy. You got to, go for the excitement. And my thing is, this is still a business, not just for the UFC, but for the fighters. This is their business. This is their career. Winning is everything, and you win the fight, and then you go, and you look to the future and try to have an impressive one, but your priority is to win. And if he wasn't injured if he hadn't gotten injured during the fight against Alves, he probably would have finished Thiago. He probably would have. I mean, he was totally dominating him. So when you have victories like that, you're completely dominating an opponent. You may not finish him, but there's no doubt that you're a supreme athlete, a supreme fighter. I don't think it's tainted at all because he hasn't gotten the finishes. They look nice on highlight reels.
Yeah, and it's also good for bonuses and getting your name out there with sponsors and stuff. But here's my argument that I will make. Let's say, hold on, George St-Pierre right now could go down as probably the welterweight GOAT. Would you agree with that?
The welterweight
GOAT, greatest of all time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Never heard that acronym before. Okay. Yeah, I do. I think he can. Right now, he is the greatest welterweight of all time.
Of all time. Surpassed
I think right now you can make that argument right now. I think, you can make that argument right now that he's the greatest welterweight of all time, even surpassing Matt Hughes.
Now, would you say...
I mean, you can make a strong argument for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Would you say that GSP is the most dominating fighter in MMA because everyone knows exactly what he wants to do, but yet he's still able to go out there and do it?
That gets tough now. I'm not going to forget about a guy named Anderson Silva, who's, that's a tough one, and that's a tough one. I mean, the thing with GSP, you know what he can do. You really can't prepare for him because you don't know what he's going to do. I mean, this is a guy who's got very good stand-up skills and he can control you on the ground. He's extremely fast. So, yeah, he can take you to the ground and control you and do all that stuff. But he doesn't have to. He can control you standing. I mean, this is a guy whose game is so evolved. He's he's at another level. Is he the most dominant fighter in mixed martial arts? I don't even put Fedor there anymore because I think the quality of his opposition is questionable. It's starting to become questionable. Yeah, his skill-wise, Fedor is a legend in the sport. But to me, Anderson Silva is, to me, he is the total package as well, in the sense that he's long. He knows how to, when it comes to cage control, I don't think anybody is better than Anderson Silva. I just don't think anyone is. I just think that he dictates where you're going to fight or where the fight's going to take place. If he wants you to go, if he wants to take it to the ground, you're going on the ground. If his defense is unbelievable. He has tremendous hands, and I'm talking about, boxer-like hands. Now, and of course, you can make a case for BJ Penn. The only problem with Penn is that Penn, right now, is now taking his career very seriously. But he's had moments when he hasn't. So, but these guys, when you're talking about an Anderson Silva and a George St-Pierre, what separates them is their abilities and their mindsets. So, it's hard. Will I say one is greater than the other, the most dominant? No. You're not getting me in that one. I'm not getting locked into that one. No way.
Good. All good. Well, Franklin McNeil, thank you so much for your time. Fifth rounders, let's run down his fight picks real quick. He's got Jim Miller, Thiago Alves, Ben Saunders, Shane Carwin, and George St-Pierre.